Springboard, a Prime Securities initiative. Media partner CNBC TV 18.
Prime Securities unveiled Springboard, a platform designed to help Indian startups scale, raise strategic capital, and prepare for IPOs and mergers. More than just a showcase, Springboard is a long-term commitment, blending innovation with insight and offering a clear pathway to sustainable success. At the event, Akshay Gupta, Managing Director and CEO of Prime Research and Advisory, launched Prime Trigen Wealth, a comprehensive, high-tech enabled wealth management subsidiary of Prime Securities.
Prime as an entity believes in partnerships. So we believe in the partnership philosophy. Raising capital or doing a structured transaction is not the be-all end-all of Prime. We believe that if we have to grow together, our partners, whether it's the startups or the traditional clients that we have to partner with them throughout the journey. We have to be there when the time gets tough. We have to be there when there are good times. So that's the philosophy, and I call it the PINE philosophy, where P is for partnerships, I is for innovation through ideation. People don't come to Prime to tell us what to do. They don't come to tell us, okay, you do a QIB or do a rights issue or do a startup angel funding round. They come to us with a problem. And what we do is problem solution. That's where the intellectual property ideation comes into the fore. So today at Prime, we stand at a crucial milestone where we are starting our own startup with all the experiences that we've learned over the last few years. And we have launched something called Prime Trigen. Trigen Wealth is the brand name of this wealth management outfit. And this, to my mind, represents Prime 3.0 in terms of its evolution. We are very proud to have partnered with the two very able co-CEOs and founders of this particular entity. And they have, in turn, been able to get some superb and brilliant talent from across the industry, which will eventually give a 360-degree solution. The idea is a holistic 360-degree asset, liability, income, expense, cash outflow, cash inflow problems for the families. And we believe that this is something that our expertise will enable us to do. I believe that Trigen can be partners with some of the investors, startup founders in growing businesses together as a partner. So I think that's really the focus of launching and introducing Trigen in this particular Springboard event. Most of these fundings that we did, most of these partnerships that we did were basically to create an ecosystem around the wealth management arm of Prime, which is Trigen, to ensure that everybody who is a client of Trigen gets to sip these particular pieces of technology, of new age businesses, of the revolution in capital markets. So we sort of have been able to bridge the gap between traditional industry and the new age industry through Trigen. Thank you very much.
Across sectors like fintech, semiconductors, and diagnostics, 24 promising enterprises presented their innovations to a select group of top-tier investors at Springboard's curated showcase. The session started with the co-founders of Trigen, a digital-first wealth advisory platform that is simplifying smart investing with their tech-powered multi-asset offerings.
We take immense pride at Trigen Wealth in the team that we've built. Great domain expertise, brought to the table. This combined with, the multi-decadal experience of investment banking of Prime Securities turns out to make Trigen Wealth a future-ready private wealth platform.
Next up was Lessol, a vertically integrated electronics manufacturer that is combining innovation, value engineering, and a deep customer focus to power India's electronics backbone.
In a highly fragmented industry that it is, where 50% of the revenue comes from organized players, the other 50% comes from small SME sectors, which are spread all across the country. And the problem that we are trying to solve is bridge the gap and bring the unorganized sector at the same level as organized sector by digitizing the entire journey and offering a solution to them, which is an end-to-end solution for their sourcing needs. And we are a dual engine growth model where focus is not just merely manufacturing, but we have our own consumer brands which help us keep a reality touch and get a real-time market feedback.
Next, Thali took the stage with its wholesome range of high-protein, high-crunch snacks that are redefining guilt-free indulgence.
At Thali, we're solving the problem of unhealthy, uninspiring snacks in India. Most options today are either deep-fried, made from palm oil, or lack transparency. There is a huge white space for better-for-you snacking in India that have great taste, are affordable, and accessible. Consumers, especially young ones, are actively seeking better-for-you options. We've built India's next-generation snack brand, a clean label, modern snacking brand with products like protein puffs, roasted peanuts, and makhana. Our products are never fried, no shortcuts, and taste great. We're uniquely positioned because we control product, brand, as well as distribution. In only about 3.5 years, we are available across more than 10,000 stores in the country, across modern trade, e-commerce, quick commerce, cafes, vending machines, and are also available internationally in the USA, Canada, UAE, and Qatar, to name a few.
Following them on stage was Feast Software, a tech venture that is using virtual reality to reshape skill development and retool India's workforce for the future.
What we do is we create content in virtual reality which is mapped to the pedagogy of the entire skill ecosystem, right from ITI to degree colleges, diploma colleges, as well as the industry. Till now, the pedagogy has been instructor-led as well as some workshop and lab. This virtual reality content, which is extremely detailed and created by inputs from world skill level experts, is mapped absolutely to the curriculum so that it can be incorporated inside the day-to-day teaching learning process. We feel that we have already tested this and reached a point where the acceptance level is extremely high, and now we are looking at implementation across the nation, as well as we are seeing serious traction in the world.
Springboard also brought together a powerful cross-section of investors, mentors, and thought leaders, reflecting on India's startup ecosystem, the current funding climate, and the strategic shifts shaping tomorrow's market leaders.
This country and the world, in fact, was for many years straddled in a very fixed silo investment mode. For example, broadcasting, access to capital, access to distribution, limited the ability of entrepreneurs to come up with new products and new solutions. But given the slew of digital technologies that have taken place in the world in the last 10, 20 years, whether it's YouTube, whether it's distributed model, whether it's payment, whether it's social media, that has created a bunch of influencers, bunch of people who can come up with a smaller scale of products with a longer tail and appeal to a more curated marketplace. So you're seeing a huge plethora of investments going into entrepreneurship, going into differentiated business models that wasn't possible even as little as 20, 30 years ago. But thanks to the digital technologies, that is all about to change.
I think as you compare to what has happened in financial services now versus when we started almost 28 years ago, I think the opportunity is a lot bigger. Clearly, India has grown a lot. The entire financial services space has grown a lot. However, I think the competition is much smarter. Access to resources, capital is much easier. Customers are more aware. There is a lot more awareness with the customer. In our days, when we started, half the battle was just educating the customer. If you got that right, I think a lot of other things followed. Now you have an already educated customer, competition smarter, but a much bigger opportunity. So the strategies would be different, the approach would be different, but the basics would still be the same, which is constantly focus on who you are, what your product is, and are you adding value to your customers. And I've learned over 28 years, I think listening to your employees, listening to your customers is evergreen. So that will not change. And I think that always is there, because the needs of the customer you understand only when you listen to them and you hear them via your employees. So in our businesses, customers and employees still are they continue to remain the most important stakeholders you have to pay attention to.
The new India is where the growth is, and there are new concepts coming up in the startups, and they definitely need funding, which is not as expensive as bank funding would be, and long gestational. So it's a perfect space for the startups as well as for us to be investing in something that is long term.
Investments are of two kinds. The first is cash. Everybody needs money, and without money you can't grow. So our philosophy is we do growth investing, and growth investing requires money, but it doesn't only require money, because cash can only be one lubricant. The most important part is mentoring. It's how to talk and engage with entrepreneurs, make them understand their own business through our lens, our eyes, our experience. And that is what we try to bring to the table. It's as true for business as it is for not-for-profit. Even a not-for-profit, a similar cash and mentoring process aids in building that organization durably for the future.
Springboard, a Prime Securities initiative. Media partner CNBC TV 18. Springboard, a Prime Securities initiative. Media partner CNBC TV 18.
The curated startups showcase at Springboard reflected the ambition, depth, and diversity of India's innovation landscape, with founders presenting innovative solutions, breakthrough ideas, and a clear intent to scale, disrupt, and lead. Revving things up on stage was Tivra, a biker lifestyle brand that offers India's lightest performance helmet that is built for speed, safety, and self-expression.
We make composite fiber motorcycle helmets for the passionate rider, and that is because India has the largest population of two-wheelers in the world, and motorbikes, which are 200cc plus, are growing the fastest. All the plastic helmets in the country are typically tested at very low speeds, and these bikers are going at much higher speeds. The bikes are more powerful. At that speed, only composite fiber helmets work, and it's really our belief that all riders should really wear the safest helmets in the world, which are made from this material. We are one of the 5 companies in the world that make only composite helmets, and we believe that we are really now equipped to scale up.
The next pitch was from a young company that is redefining dairy in central and eastern India. With beloved brands, a rapidly expanding network, and cutting-edge facilities in the pipeline, Jalpak is taking dairy to new heights.
At Widespread, we believe that the Indian market for food and beverage straddles between two extremes. First is legally adulterated products in which we have high amount of sugars, high amount of chemicals, and on the other hand, we have products like paneer which are made out of palm oil. At Widespread, with our brand Velho, we want to disrupt the market with truly nutri-balanced food products wherein the consumer not only enjoy and savor the taste of our products, but they also gain health and nutrition from it. Coming to our food processing platform called Jalpak, we have already acquired our first plant in Indore, and we would be commencing our production from August 2025. Jalpak is going to own the food processing arm of this company, wherein we will manufacture and process quality food products starting with dairy, source it directly from the farmland of India, and put it on the plate of consumers.
Following them up on stage was Fan2Park, a startup envisioning a unified sports ecosystem that brings alive the world of sports and fandom with immersive travel packages while connecting fans with unforgettable sporting experiences.
At Fan2Park, we are creating a sporting ecosystem. The vision with which we've started this concept of Fan2Park is primarily because we want to bring joy to hardcore sports fans on the back of technology. We have 2 broad verticals, Fan2Park Travel, where we make sports experiences come alive for hardcore sports fans. And the other business vertical is called Fan2Park Play, where we allow people to look for sports coaches near them and make playing sport very accessible. We believe that we are uniquely positioned to solve for the sporting ecosystem in our country because we've captured both verticals, whether it is watching sport live or playing sport under one roof. And if we are able to successfully create the ecosystem that we envision, I think we'll be able to solve for India's sporting needs in a big manner.
Next up was Expand, a B2B platform that is reshaping rural distribution for the FMCG industry by connecting brands with Kirana stores in the deepest pockets of India.
Expand basically is into solving one of the major problems. So there is a lot of wealth which is behind a broken supply chain in rural area, and we are trying to solve that with new age technology and a deep operational expertise. And how we are differentiated with the other players is that we don't go for spray bulletin. We are going for a sharpshoot. We prioritize those markets, which are the affluent clusters in rural, by using GIS mapping, economic indicators, and then prioritizing which all villages to go. And finally, we are seeing a lot of opportunity for new coming brands, which would have been, not very, very difficult for them to enter into this in an aggregated manner. It's possible for us to take them and let them foray into the rural markets.
Rounding off the pitches, Fermionic presented its cutting-edge semiconductor design solutions that are enabling the next wave of high-performance electronic systems.
We are a full-stack product company building chips for active phase array antenna systems. We are working on a very unique problem where we are improving the system efficiency, integration challenges, and then also improving the total bill of material, and we are improving the total cost of ownership. With our flagship beamformer and front-end module chips, we have already got very good successful traction with our customers, where customers have started using our parts for building the prototype. And we are optimistic that with this customer traction, we'll be able to win a good market share.
At Springboard, investors and mentors shared bold insights on India's startup opportunity. From unlocking capital and navigating market cycles to building ventures that endure and scale.
Building a brand is a question of the product, the distribution, and the mind space that it occupies in the minds of the consumer. It's a slow process. It depends on what product you are bringing to the market. It depends on what opportunities you get to interact with the consumer, and also the basic quality of the offering that you have. So my own advice would be ensure that you have a good product, ensure that you have a purpose for the brand, and remain true to the promise that you want to deliver.
So I largely in my startup space have a large part of my investments in financial services, whether it is fintech or I have some money in companies like Incred, PL Capital, and then one of our large investments has been in Jalpak, which is a food processing and dairy company. So more of a consumer company. But we look at startups in different industries. We're industry agnostic. It just depends on where the opportunity is, how the promoter group is, the entrepreneur's credibility, the team they've set up, the idea that they have. Because in early stage, you're really betting on the team and the idea, and the strategy evolves over time as the business grows and there's more innovation. And so startups are never a straight trajectory, they're never linear, they are continuously reinventing themselves.
My company is a charging technology company, and our first set of products that we're building out is EV chargers, because that's the low-hanging fruit. So we manufacture chargers right from the minimum 3.3 kilowatts right up to 350 kilowatt DC fast chargers. And this is using our own proprietary technology is, we're probably the only company in India which has their own technology stack. And the vision is to not only build for India and sell in India, but also be a company which sells or caters to the international markets. The challenge really is people today don't believe that Indian companies have the ability to go international. So getting them to believe that it is really possible and there's a huge market out there and we can leverage it is one challenge. To building out a company which is in the technology space also requires people to understand what we are doing. That is the next challenge. Once that, I think, hump is crossed, getting capital should be the easy part. I think we have the talent here. We have the drive to, as people, we can actually learn very quickly. So I believe we can build that company.
Startups obviously come to search firms like TransSearch when they want senior talent. And there is a demand across both early stage startups as well as more mature startups. Again, what they want changes. Early stage startups would want candidates who would probably join as co-founders or very early on in the life cycle of the startup. And would be people who might come in for a particular role, but also should be good at taking on some parts of other functions. With more mature organizations, roles tend to get very specialized, and especially in areas like AI or cybersecurity. These are very, very specialized areas, ML. There you require very specialist talent. And there is today a demand for people who come with very, very specific skills. And those skills are, in fact, on the rise, and there's a lot of demand for those skills.
There are a lot of things to be done. We have to climb beyond Mount Everest. This is just the starting point. I don't think the investors would want to get off at the first stop. But nevertheless, we started with the frozen food industry. We will go to ready to eat, we will get to packaged food, we will get to beyond vegetarian food, we will get to culinary delights, all of that. And after which we will look at IPOing, getting third-party investors in and stuff like that. But there's a lot to do.
As Springboard came to a close, Prime Securities marked a bold step forward, bridging startups with strategic capital and fueling the next generation of innovators and market leaders.
Springboard, a Prime Securities initiative. Media partner, cnbc TV 18.